Welcome to Great Food. If you care about the food and farming issues of our world today, you'll want to meet my next guest, Katie Porter from the Wallace Centers of Iowa. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. So what are you doing? And I know that you have a place in rural Orient, Iowa. Most of us have never been there.
Right.
But you've got a farm down there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Wallace Centers of Iowa has a farm in rural Orient. We have 5 acres of vegetables. It's a CSA vegetable farm. We do lots of different activities out there, and we have a restaurant out there that's open to the public on Fridays for lunch and dinner.
That's right. And you've told me a little bit about what you do there. Almost everything you do is sourced locally. So you get these fresh, amazing flavors of locally sourced food.
Right.
And you also, not just the produce, but the meats and the proteins. You also try to source within about 50 or 100 miles.
Yeah, we try to get everything, from local farmers just to support the Iowa community. And so it's so fun. Musa, our farm manager, comes and tells us what we have growing out of the garden each week, and then going to visit farms and searching out those, proteins and flour and dairy products.
That is so great, because you don't even think of flour as something you can source locally, but you figured it out.
Yeah.
That's terrific. So what are you going to make for us today?
We are going to make kind of a springtime crostini. It's asparagus, rhubarb, chives, and radishes with Milton Creamery Quirk cheese on a toasted bread.
That is amazing. And so rhubarb and asparagus together.
Yes.
All right.
I know you don't really think of rhubarb as savory, but they both are one of the first springtime vegetables that grow up. So why not try to mix them together and see what happens?
I can't wait to try it.
Great.
So what do you do?
First of all, I've toasted some bread in the oven for about 8 minutes. I sprinkled a little olive oil and pepper on top. And then I put about a teaspoon of Quirk cheese just right on the top.
And Quirk is a fresh cheese?
Quirk is a fresh cheese from Milton Creamery.
Okay, and Milton Creamery is where?
It's in Milton, Iowa.
Milton.
Yep.
Okay, and by the way, rural Orient, for those of us who don't know where it is, how far away is it?
It's about an hour from downtown Des Moines.
Okay, so, you could go there for lunch or dinner pretty easily and turn around. I mean, if you live in Manhattan, you commute an hour for dinner any day, so why not do it in Iowa, right?
And it's a beautiful drive. We've got 11 acres of natural prairie grounds and different flower gardens and the gardens to tour, so it's just a great activity for the day.
That's fantastic. Great.
And then you want to get a pan pretty hot, and we'll put about a teaspoon of olive oil in. We're going to add just a cup of it.
It is nice and hot, isn't it?
Smoking. We'll add a cup of asparagus. And you just want to cook it for about 30 seconds. You want it just to kind of get the rawness out of it and really brighten the green color.
Oh, yeah.
We'll sprinkle with a little salt and pepper. And then we'll add the rhubarb. The rhubarb you want to keep pretty much raw. You just want to soften it a little bit, but you want to keep that tartness of the rhubarb and the freshness of it.
That's why we love rhubarb, but I always think of rhubarb as something you pair with something sweet.
Right.
Sweet tart thing. But you're doing something that's totally new.
Yeah.
I love.
Rhubarb doesn't need sugar to taste good.
There you go. That's good to know. And it doesn't need bacon to taste good either.
Yeah, absolutely. Just add a little asparagus.
That's great.
So we have the rhubarb and the asparagus in here. We're going to add a few chopped radishes.
Did you have radishes already?
Yeah, we have radishes at the farm. They were new this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really excited. We do kind of a happy dance in the kitchen when we get new vegetables, so it's kind of fun. Chives are up too, and so we've got some little chives in there. And we're going to add just a little bit of balsamic vinegar. And so this is an aged balsamic.
Great. Lovely.
You can already tell the really bright colors of spring are in there.
Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous. So, all right, so you've got the rural Orient thing, but for those of us who want to do something more close to home, you have this amazing thing, the Food for Thought dinners at the Wallace house.
Right.
Which is very cool. Here's a picture. We got a couple pictures here of the interior. It's the completely restored house of the first of the four.
Henry, Uncle Henry.
The first of the 4 Henry Wallaces, which, I mean, there were 4 great men who have done a lot. And so the food, tell us about the Food for Thought, the idea behind the Food for Thought dinner is very interesting.
The Wallace family were really big about bringing people to the table and just talking about food, issues that are going on in the world during that day. And so we wanted to bring people to the table and present some issues, have a dialogue dinner kind of. So we have, occasionally we'll have a speaker that comes and just kind of mingles around to the tables and talks about, anything from childhood hunger to, we've had the cheesemaker from Milton Creamery come. We've had some Iowa wineries come and visit. And then people can have just a regular dinner like you would have in a restaurant, but then have this great conversation too.
No, it's really great because I've been to these dinners, and you have these table tents that sort of have little questions that you can sort of ask among the people at your table to sort of get a conversation going.
Right.
So you're really thinking about certain issues of our time and food and just things that we really all should think about, and yet it's done in a really fun setting. I mean, it's not like you're going to a lecture.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important.
Right.
Do you want a little lecture with that lemon pound cake?
Right.
No.
No,
thank you.
You want to enjoy your dinner, but still have a good conversation and get things going.
And meanwhile, you're eating all those fresh, bright flavors that you get from your farm and from the local places.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, so we're just topping off the crostini with the quark cheese and then the asparagus rhubarb mixture.
That's great. So, I just realized maybe a lot of people don't know who the Wallaces are. Can you just tell us quickly? I mean, I think most of us know who Henry Wallace III was.
The third was, yep.
Yeah, because he was our vice president.
Uncle Henry, who was Henry A. Wallace's grandfather, started the Wallace Farmer magazine, and his wife Nancy was one of the first woman journalists in the country, and she wrote for the Wallace Farmer magazine. And then the son, who was also named Henry, Henry A.'s father, they started Pioneer Seed Company and just did a lot, for agriculture and sustainable agriculture.
That's
in the country.
great. Yeah. So, I mean, really progressive people who are very interested in food and farming throughout the 20th century.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you're bringing their vision into the 21st century, which I think is very cool.
Great.
So, all right. I'm going to take a big mouthful of this. So then, will you do the talking while I can?
Yes. Yeah.
Take a mouthful of it.
And so you'll notice there's the brightness of the rhubarb, and then you get kind of the spiciness of the radish in there and asparagus, and
a real, beautiful feeling of that cheese. It's a little bit creamy, but it's fresh. It's not a super aged cheese at all.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Yep.
That is wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you so much for coming on and
You're
showing
very
us this
welcome.
and telling us about this great program you have.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, 6:52, and when we come back, could you guys hear the story? Letter